Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I'm your host, Kiana Canada. Welcome back to Kiana's Shelf. Before we get into tonight's topic, please share this video, like it, and subscribe to this channel. Remember, when you do that, this actually pushes videos like this up, and it circulates these videos where other people can see them. Also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook by searching for my name. That's at Kiana Canada. As an additional preliminary matter, it's important to say that although Kiana's Shelf is adversarial, nothing on this, within this video or on this channel should be interpreted as an incitement to hatred nor an incitement to violence. Everything on this channel is really to cogitate on and to engage in a thought-provoking discussion or debate. It is not an incitement to hatred or violence against any person or group within the United States, the Republic of Ireland, or Northern Ireland, or any other nation. Tonight we are sitting in the extra and we are talking about an interview that LeBron James had and a question that he was asked during the interview. And while we are discussing his answer as well as the question, I am going to give an anecdote describing my own circumstances with how it appears as if people around me were trying to force me into a political position that I didn't have enough information about. Now, LeBron James, I believe he was finished playing a basketball game, and a reporter asked him to make a statement or asked him a question. And the question was, what message would you like to send to your fans, your fans in Israel? And LeBron James responded, quote, "If I have fans over there, I've never been there. I hope you've been following my career. I hope I inspire people over there to not only want to be great in sports, but want just to be better in general in life. So hopefully someday I can make it over there. Like I said, I've never been over there, but I have heard nothing but great things." End quote. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron James received blowback for that answer that he provided to that question, and people were expecting him to give an international argument or international perspective to that question. And so I want to break this down for you. LeBron James is, of course, if you don't know, he is a basketball player in the United States of America. He is not a scholar. He is not an expertise in international conflicts or humanitarian conflicts and law. And his experience as a Black American has been rooted in the United States, not in any other country. And what I saw is people condemning LeBron James for the answer that he gave. This came from social media influencers, commentators, people that I even watch, people that I even like, engaged in this attack upon LeBron James instead of sympathizing with that particular situation. And what do I mean by that? LeBron James is a basketball player. To reiterate, He is not a political scholar. He is not, does not have any expertise in international conflicts. He has never been to Israel. So expecting him to give a different answer other than the answer that he had already given, I think was too robust from the public. We need to understand that there are children in Israel too, that there are human beings in Israel as well. And those human beings and those children in Israel have goals and have aspirations just like the children and human beings in Gaza. And to deprive those children and those people in Israel the opportunity to hear from a basketball player that they are liked is just cruel. What we need to do is hold people in power responsible for international conflicts, not children. Not children on either side. Could you tell me that a 10-year-old girl or a 10-year-old boy who is a fan of LeBron James, or a teenager, a 15, 20-year-old that is a fan of LeBron James, that they are somehow complicit in the actions that are happening in Gaza? No, these are people that don't have any power. They don't have any say. You're holding these children responsible that don't have any power. And the children I'm talking about is the children in Israel. They don't have any power. They can't, a teenager can't go up to their government and say, please stop the war in Gaza, and that request not only be taken under advisement, but to be followed through with. And I think that that is what we're losing in this scheme of things. We're losing the humanity on both sides. We're losing the humanity on both sides. Something similar happened to me. I was a student in Queen's University, Belfast, and I was ambushed with these questions about Israel and Palestine. And embarrassingly, I was ashamed to say that I didn't know too much about the conflict, but did say it because I was in a university where I thought that that would be respected. Oftentimes when these discussions about Israel and Palestine came up, I would say, I apologize, I'm asking this question. Excuse my ignorance. I don't know too much on this particular topic, but tell me about A, tell me about B, tell me about C. And it always came from a place of, like a highfalutin place of, you should know this and you should know that. And then it turned into being forced into trying to hold a position when it came to Palestine, from activists on the campus, by the behavior of teachers on the campus, professors on the campus, which was, I think, insensitive as well, because, to reiterate, not everybody knows or are deeply enmeshed within these conversations about international conflicts and humanitarian law. I urge you to go to the United States and take somebody who is, for example, a rapper, or not only a rapper, or a country music singer, or a mukbanger, and ask them, so what do you think about the Vietnam War? Some people don't even know about that. And so I think the answer that LeBron James gave to that question was a sports answer. Indeed, he said, I hope I inspire people over there to not only want to be great in sports, but want to just be better in life in general. How are we holding him to account for the atrocities that are happening in Gaza when all LeBron James is doing is playing basketball? And some may argue, well, Kiana, LeBron James has spoken out about the ill treatment of Black Americans. But yes, this is happening within his own backyard. LeBron James is a Black American. LeBron James grew up as a person who saw Black Americans being gunned down by the police, witnessed extrajudicial executions on the television. And so he is well suited to speak out about what's happening to his own people by the very fact that he has lived experience with seeing it happening around him, knowing exactly that because a person looks different or their skin is dark, that they shouldn't be gunned down at a traffic stop because of that. And I think what we're doing is we are expecting people who are ignorant in a particular subject or topic to give us an answer that is politically correct. Not only a politically correct answer, but an answer that makes us feel better about where we sit with political issues. That's not to say that every time that we are seeking information or responses from people that we are in hopes that they will make us feel better with where we sit with political issues, but we're being too harsh on people. Now, people are chastising him because he said that he hopes to visit Israel someday, and he's never been there, but he's heard good things about it. And there could be a multum in Provo in Israel. That's not to say, ladies and gentlemen, that the entire country and everybody in Israel are bad people. That's not to say that everybody in Belfast are bad, that all the people here are bad. That's not to say that everybody in the United States is bad. That's not to say that everybody in the Republic of Ireland is bad. That's not to say that everybody in Gaza is bad. You get my point? So the perspective that LeBron James had, that there could be good things about Israel, was not LeBron James standing in allegiance with the Israeli government. It was LeBron James saying, you know what, I have fans in Israel that are looking up to me. They like the fact that I'm a basketball player. They like me as a sportsman. They appreciate my skill set, and possibly some of these people that appreciate my skill set and like me as a basketball player are children. And the last thing that we should do is to crush a child's dream, no matter what side of the aisle they sit on, no matter what country they're from. We are being too harsh when these countries go to war, and we're holding some people within those nations accountable for that, which is having a disparate impact on the children in those nations. I almost felt that people hoped that these inquisitorial questions would be used as a pacave about Gaza. What's happening in Gaza, ladies and gentlemen, is unfortunate and saddening. No child on this earth should ever lose their life to war. And it hurts me just as much as it probably hurts you to know that children and women, and of course men as well, who had nothing to do with this, are gone and have lost their lives because governments were unable to find a meeting place and was unable to find a diplomatic solution to this international conflict. But expecting a person who has little to nothing to do and does not even have any expertise in the matter to give an answer that is expert-like and that is scholarly is deeply disappointing. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people who play sports, athletes. There are some athletes that are political and can muster a political answer to some of these questions. There are some athletes that follow politics, but we need to be reminded that this is not all athletes. Some athletes are just sportsmen. They're just athletes. All they do is they play sports and they speak out on particular issues that touches their heart. And without knowing enough information, we're asking a person to speak prematurely on a political issue that could put them in deeper water. I think that he gave the right answer. That's just my opinion. And that's not me holding anything against the Palestinian people or holding anything against Gaza. To reiterate, I love everybody. And although my allegiance stands with the Jewish people because of our shared history and how they helped us come out of building the NAACP and helped us throughout history, that is not standing in solidarity with war. And we need to come to terms with that issues within the United States are still polarized. There are people who have a perspective on war on the right, as well as people that have perspectives on war on the left. And sometimes there's a consensus about these issues, and then sometimes there's not. And for us to argue that a person is recalcitrant in their answers about international conflicts when they don't know much about it is just, I think, being harsh. That's just my personal opinion. It's really, it's being harsh. Now, I will reiterate, the Israeli Palestine conflict is ineluctable. It's hard to miss. Many people are talking about this conflict. But just as many people are talking about it, there are some people that aren't talking about it, that don't know enough about it, that can't really tell you what's going on. And we need to give grace to those people. And if you are educated in this specific conflict, then use your expertise to educate those that don't know enough about it so that they can make an informed decision for themselves. Like, I think what's happening is that there's been this inertia selling of the Palestinian side, which is okay. If you're an activist, or if you are a human rights defender, or if you are a political group or pack, then yes, you are going to engage in this inertia selling for your side so that people can come over to your side. That's normal. But when you engage in this, you have to do so with care as well, and you have to do so with giving everybody all the facts to reiterate, so that they can make an informed decision about where they stand. Now, something similar happened to me. Like I already explained, I was in Queen's University, Belfast, how that happened to me. But also, ladies and gentlemen, there is a professor at Queen's University, Belfast, named Brian Kelly. And he is a professor of Black American, African American studies, history, and he not only has been a professor in this for quite some time, he has a website called After Slavery. And I've been in his office. We had a discussion in his office about political repression, anti-Black racism, and he has hundreds and thousands of books on Black history, the Black American experience, probably anthropological issues concerning Black Americans, ethnographical issues, and books related to Black Americans. I spoke to him in the Law School Cafe. I spoke to him at the People Before Profit conference, or not conference, but meeting that was held at Queen's University, Belfast. All these were professional discussions. And in these discussions, I really tried to get Brian Kelly to advocate on my behalf. He is an American. He's white, a professor at Queen's University, Belfast. And with his knowledge and scholarship and expertise in understanding Jim Crow, understanding the protest psychosis, understanding the oppression that Black Americans face, understanding police brutality, understanding the slavery era. With his understanding of this, I asked for him to advocate on my behalf, not necessarily to march down the streets on my behalf, but to speak out on my behalf because of the rich information that he has gathered throughout the years about my people, as well as the knowledge that he has gained throughout the years relating to how related to how my people have been treated by the US government. And I didn't receive any support from him. Complete silence from him. Where is everybody holding him to account for not speaking up for my being put through transnational repression in the Republic of Ireland and in Northern Ireland because I filed an international protection application against my country? Where is the person who has the expertise and the knowledge and the scholarship, this person? Where is holding that person accountable? who could have issued a public statement about the nuances of how Black Americans are treated and the stereotypes that are put onto Black Americans, the framing from the US government, whether that's COINTELPRO, and how this has evolved in time. Where was Brian Kelly to issue a statement and to use his expertise and his scholarship to support me? Where was he? And where were the people holding him to account for not doing so? And this is the problem that I have, is that we hold the wrong people responsible for speaking up about particular issues. Right now we have Brian Kelly, who is, to reiterate, is a professor in Queen's University Belfast, who has a lot of knowledge about Black American history. I'm pretty sure from the transatlantic slave trade till now, who was situated to intervene and to provide a perspective that could have helped me out of this cycle of oppression, but chose not to do so. And we're asking a basketball player who is not an expert and does not have any scholarly articles written to issue an international humanitarian statement on an international war. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'll leave you with. I'll leave you with this question. Are we holding the right people responsible to speak out on specific issues? Are we letting other people slide on these particular issues? Should Brian Kelly, should he have spoken out on my behalf, being an African American scholar, speaking about Black history issues, having a website after slavery? Should he have spoken out on my behalf? Was LeBron James' answer the right answer for the children within Israel? These are all things that I want to know, ladies and gentlemen. Please understand, I don't stand with war. I am an anti-war activist. And so it's important that we engage in these conversations responsibly and not take them out of context. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.